Hello and welcome to another edition of Maritime Gateway's Digital Dialogue. Today we have a guest with us, Mr. Sanjay Bhatia, who is co-founder and CEO of Freightwalla. Now, Freightwalla is a leading technology-enabled freight forwarding startup in India. It enables global shippers to search, compare, and book instant freight services along with real-time tracking and end-to-end digital solutions to streamline logistic operations. Sanjay Bhatia brings in a wealth of experience from his prior experience with PwC Strategy Consulting, Fast Track, a venture capital firm, and Everstone Capital, one of India's biggest homegrown private equity firms. Sanjay has consulted on growth strategies for numerous Fortune 500 firms and MNC logistic companies in his previous roles. He advised on technology investments, prepared growth and distribution strategies for the top three global sportswear companies. He also led teams to design and build dashboards that improved the visibility of the senior management's performance and provide real-time access to data. Being a strategist, he developed a model to forecast migration patterns in India 5, 10, and 25 years into the future. Sanjay Bhatia is also the co-founder of a non-partisan NGO, Know Your Vote, where he established a novel business model that aimed to improve voter awareness and turnout among India's youth. He holds degrees in economics, politics, and philosophy from the University of Warwick. He also holds a Master's of Science degree in Applied Finance from Singapore Management University. He has completed International Baccalaureate from Dhirubhai Ambani International School. Welcome to the show, Sanjay Bhatia. It's a pleasure to have you with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, you have a very impressive profile and background, finance, venture capitalism, predicting models, and all that. So, can you give me an insight into what exactly Freightwalla and how does it operate?
So, as you already pointed out, Freightwalla is basically a digital freight forwarding company. So, what that basically entails is that we bring in technology and technology enablement throughout the entire life cycle of the freight forwarding process. For example, if you're an exporter and you are looking to understand the different route options available to you for, let's say, your factory in Maharashtra to your buyer's warehouse in, let's say, the UK, we bring in technology that will allow you to search and compare all the different route options. So across the multiple different shipping lines, with different transporters and their different price levels and different service levels, get an understanding of all of the transit times, schedules, cutoffs, etc. Everything, all the relevant information that's required to actually make a decision in terms of moving your cargo is available in a few clicks. This is essentially like a booking platform, but Freightwalla is much, much, much beyond that. I mean, that is only the start of our engagement with the clients. So as an end-to-end digital freight forwarder, what we also do is that after the client books with us, we actually get heavily involved using technology in the freight forwarding process itself. So what I'm really talking about is basically the two main work streams, which is managing and tracking the physical movement of the cargo, as well as managing and tracking the documentation requirements required to actually ship the cargo across borders. So our technology and systems guide both of those processes and ensure that every step is completed in time and accurately. And so what we're able to do is effectively ensure that there's real, on-time delivery of cargo at a much, much higher degree of reliability than you would get from providers who have a very, very manually driven process. Essentially, what we are able to do again is offer the clients a higher degree of on-time reliability at a lower overall cost of logistics. The technology helps ensure that there are no manual errors in the process, and so it drives the entire thing forward.
How different it is from the conventional freight forwarding? Because usually conventional freight forwarding gives us a lot of confidence and trust that I can talk to physical people, and then I know that if there is a problem, then there is somebody dependable. So how does a digital platform gives that kind of confidence to the shipper?
So let me put it very categorically that we do not intend for the technology to substitute the human element of freight forwarding. When we talk about digital freight forwarding and the efficiencies that can come from technology, we are mostly talking about bringing in efficiencies in the processing of documents, the information flow, information management. All of that is driven by technology, but we are very well cognizant of the fact that the human element in freight forwarding and logistics is very real and very important to clients and all stakeholders, honestly, in the process. And so, what we see ourselves doing with the technology is actually using the technology to enable the relationship building, right? So the technology is basically used as a way to build trust, as a way to establish confidence between ourselves and the various stakeholders. Because once the stakeholders see the sophistication of the workflow management and the tracking and all of the technology that we built, they truly begin to trust that, okay, if I give my requirements to this company, I know that they are going to do a good job of handling my cargo. And so that really aids the relationship building that we have with the clients. And of course, we are still here to provide solutions. We are not just here as a sort of a DIY platform, do it yourself platform. And in that manner, sort of we marry the human element with the technology and element to actually give a much higher degree of confidence to the clients.
Okay, there are a couple of things in what you mentioned. Is one is giving them the real-time visibility to the container movement. There is always the most important thing is pricing part of it also. So does this platform give the realistic pricing or cost involved? Because in our industry, it is very essential to know the real pricing, because there is a perception that a lot of hidden costs are involved. How does this platform work if somebody wants to have the realistic cost for him to move one container from one place to place A to B?
Yeah, so the prices that we have on the platform are 100% reliable and realistic. So we actually, 3 years, 4 years ago, when we were starting off the company, we spent a lot of time and effort to map out the way that quotation is built for the clients. And so I think we spent almost 6 months trying to really perfect the creation of an accurate quotation with all of the different permutations and combinations, like dock stuffing, factory stuffing, ICD pickup, uh, hazardous cargo, non-hazardous cargo, etc., etc. 20 foot, 40 foot. So we mapped it all out, and now it is built into the system. And so when you go into the system and you actually want to move your cargo, so we don't just provide like a high level freight rate, right? As you pointed out, we will provide every single breakup of all of the line items involved, including all of your local charges, other incidentals if there are, which the system can easily identify. So in that sense, it is a very accurate and realistic cost estimate that you get out of the platform. But once again, I want to draw your attention to the fact that prices are, of course, very important. I'm absolutely not taking away from it. But what we are really positioning ourselves at in front of our clients is not, we're not very price oriented, right? So when we approach the clients, we're honestly looking to service clients who want a higher or a next generation logistics company, who can handle things in a different way. So accurate and realistic prices are available, but we find that it is not the be all and end all in case you are not able to be 100% accurate in terms of the pricing available on the platform. It is not something that overly concerns us. And as I mentioned, um, we are not trying to be a booking platform. We're trying to be a digital forwarder. So in that sense, there is a little bit of back and forth sometimes required with clients, and we are very happy to engage in that.
That brings me to another interesting question on the real-time tracking. So today we are facing several challenges, especially in this pandemic era. You have a shortage of equipment, you have disruption of services, there are some cancellation of sailings, blank sailings, and there could be some custom delays in addition to these. So how do you ensure that the customer is aware of all these delays or challenges, disruptions? Second thing, how do you handle these and convey it to them?
So the majority of the information flow is handled by tracking, and information flow is handled by our technology, as I mentioned. So we have connected with various stakeholders to get very accurate information on what is happening with the cargo, and what is the expected timeline of deliveries. So all of this has been built in, and so managing that information flow is something that is done by our technology itself. That information flows directly to the client as it becomes available to us, and that really leaves our team to be problem solvers for the client, really. So once this information flow is made available to them, it is simultaneously made available to the client as well. And then immediately, instead of trying to, as would happen typically, let's say 10 years ago, 5 years ago, you'd spend a lot of time just figuring out where the cargo is and what is the current status. That is no longer an action that takes up a lot of bandwidth for either us or our clients. So we're immediately on the problem solving mode. Once we know what is happening with the cargo, yes, their exception management is very important. That is also the key aspect of the human element of this business. And so we basically work with the clients once exceptions are found out, to figure out what is the best option for them as on a given day. We all know that sometimes deliveries aren't very urgent. It's not that every single shipment is urgent. So once we interface with the client and understand what exactly is their requirement for that particular shipment on that given day, we then start working on strategies to mitigate any challenges that can come out of it.
You said you are not a booking platform, you are a digital freight forwarder. There are a lot of digital platforms or booking platforms today available in the marketplace. So how does a shipper choose either of these, and how is the competition for you from other either platforms or digital forwarders?
What I would say about us compared to the booking platforms is, when you look at the importer and exporters available in India, you will actually see, as a forwarder, you see a range of different requirements. Some people have requirement ABC, other people have requirement XYZ. And your best chance of closing the business is to really understand the requirements and the problems and go in with a quality solution. And if you are able to do that, then you might actually find that maybe forwarding is not so price sensitive. Maybe clients actually care about solutioning and not just the price. So that is the approach we are taking. We are very particular on the clients we approach. We know exactly who is the type of person who is going to be amenable to our type of service, and we focus on them. We are not trying to be everything for everyone, and so that is how we hold our ground and stand on our feet. I personally feel that the value addition component is lesser. The only thing you're offering is discovery. And so when your value addition component is much lesser, the chance for premiumization, the chance for value premiumization and expanded margins is also lesser. And so you come down to a few simple, you get tagged in the eyes of the client in a few very simple ways. So when people first thought about Make My Trip, they're like, oh, I'm going to get the cheapest price here. And if you get tagged as that, of course, there is still market for you. I'm not absolutely not trying to deny it. But then you will attract those type of clientele. The ones who want solutioning will attract a different type of freight forwarding company. And there may be other requirements of different types of clients, and there might be a different type of logistics company that is best suited for them. And so really what to give you a short answer to this question, I think there's scope for everyone. It is only one when you get very, very particular in terms of detailing what is your value proposition, then you can also find the perfect type of client for yourself and build a sustainable business that also can stand on its own against a whole lot of competition, which there is tons in our industry.
You mentioned about market. So how is the adoption from market or the response from the shippers to use digital platforms or freight forwarding? And what exactly your market? Is it large customers or small and medium customers or individual customers who are easily convertible to the digital freight forwarding system, and how is it?
Over the past 4 years has been increasing at a fairly strong pace. And what I really mean by market increasing at a strong pace is customer adoption and customer willingness to try digital solutions. When we started the company, this was about 4 years ago, roughly. It was challenging to convince a client to come online and take advantage of all of the different digital tools we have. Partly because the perception was that this industry is not amenable to it. At least that was the thought 4 years ago. Over the course of the 4 years, the perception has changed drastically. And even pre-COVID, I would have said that there has been a big change. But post-COVID and post-lockdowns, it's been a step change in terms of the willingness of clients to adopt technology-driven solutions. Just to give you a short example, like we used to get, let's say, X amount of clients who are coming to us every month. So an inbound funnel, right? Which is, I mean, it is very happy, as as a logistics company, you're very happy to have clients approaching you as opposed to you going out there. So let's say we had X amount of clients coming to us pre-COVID lockdown. Post lockdown, it's gone up to 10x. Literally, it's been a tenfold increase. So there has been a great change. I anticipate that this will only increase in time as the business models become more matured, more sophisticated, and as the value propositions of each of the different business models begins to evolve. So there will be, large parts of the market will begin to be amenable to it. Now, in terms of your question of whether it's large, medium, or small clients who are amenable, honestly, my answer is all of them. But you need to be sure on what it is you are providing to them. Your enterprise clients might be more interested in software only offerings. Let's say your Fortune 500 type companies, they will be more interested in software only offerings. Then your mid-sized companies may be more interested in solution based offerings or digital freight forwarding, or maybe depending on their sophistication, they might be interested in software only. And then for different parts of the market, you might have a different ideal fit.
Okay, you come from the conventional freight forwarding stable. Did you cut your teeth there? And going forward, do you see the traditional freight forwarding model diminishing and more digital freight forwarding happening?
My primary work experience has been in strategy consulting and investments. But yes, I have spent enough of time in traditional forwarding as well. I've spent enough of time to be able to marry both schools of thought. To just put it in a nutshell, I mean, traditional forwarding in 10 years' time will be digital forwarding, right? So everyone will pick up different parts of the technology spectrum to improve their service levels to the client. If you are going to simply say that no, none of this is required, then no, then I'm sorry. There is probably going to be less and less market for you as the next 10 years come around. But not to say that the market is going to drastically change by next year or the year after that. So everyone has a chance to pick up the new solutions. It will take, let's say, anywhere between 4 to 7 years for this transition period to be complete. And traditional forwarding, honestly, when you mention it, to me, what comes to my mind is solutions based logistics company where the interaction with the client is key to basically just to understand what is the requirement, and the requirement changes every day. Sometimes cargo is very urgent and you're not so worried about prices. Sometimes it's not so urgent and you're willing to expand the transit time to lower the cost. And that is where I see the interaction with the client as being key, and that understanding on a daily basis what is the requirement, and then working it out with the client to figure out if this is the right option for you today. That I don't see going away at all. You can technologically enable it, so you can make it easier for you and the client to navigate through the universe of logistics, but solutioning itself is not going anywhere.
After 4 years of existence into the operations in the market, so what is on your plate now, and what are your future plans for the company?
The future plans for the company is basically to just expand our offering. So we have been primarily West India focused. Not to say that we don't have clients or don't do business with the other sectors in India, being north, south, east, west. But yes, we want to expand our presence in these areas.
Sanjay Bhatia, thank you very much for joining us today and sharing your thoughts into digital freight forwarding, the future of it, and the response from the customers and market, and where you want to take the company. We wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.